All right. Hello, everyone. I am so happy to welcome you to our show, Caring for Your Pet. And this is where you can learn more about how to simply, easily, and compassionately keep your pet healthy and happy. My name is Berns Galang or Berns Berry, your host for the show. And today we're going to be talking about planning ahead and being more mindful for our pets. Our guest expert today is Beverly Means. Now, let me tell you something about Beverly. She is the founder of the nonprofit Transitions Pet Care, which she started in 2020. They provide pet care and rehoming services so that pet owners who are nearly facing the end of life can have their pets taken care of. They also promote awareness about how vital it is to plan ahead for our pets in the event that the owner passes away or unable to care for their pets due to a major injury or illness. And it has been a big problem, but now they are bringing in solutions to address that. And so, without further ado, let's all learn more about this from Beverly. Hi, Beverly.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
I appreciate your participation and so great to have you here. All right, I'm curious, can you share with us your journey and how you started Transitions Pet Care?
Sure. I'm a single person and I don't really have a big support network. And so, as just a natural planner, I was trying to figure out what solutions would be for my pets. Because, as we get older, the likelihood that we will experience a major illness or injury or have a surgery is, that increases. And so I wanted to know before I was in that situation, what is available to me as a pet owner. And I kind of Googled around and I didn't really see anything or any kind of service that provided pet care, such as dog walking or litter box maintenance for pet owners facing a major illness. And so I started thinking about it a little bit more. And that's how the idea came up. And then, of course, when you think about somebody, especially somebody with a progressive illness, at some point they might need help rehoming their pet. And so I was like, well, there should be that rescue rehoming component as well. So that's how I was able to marry the two. And then, of course, I always like to have some sort of education component with programs and nonprofits that I start. And I realized as well that people really weren't making a plan for their pets. Estate planning for your pet really isn't that common, especially here in Georgia. So I decided that, my organization should also include that kind of education and assistance. So that way people can keep their pets for as long as possible and they never have to worry about their pets ending up in a shelter, and we can help them create a good plan.
Wow, sounds like you're a visionary because it's not commonly practiced, but especially here. It's actually the first time that I've heard of what you do with your organization. And sounds like it started from an idea and you just followed through with that. And now here you go.
Yeah. I basically created an organization for me to be a possible customer one day. I know that, I might need that help, like I was saying. And, who better to help me rehome my pets if I was ever too sick to care for them than, somebody who's been there, who's gotten to know my pets, rather than trying to bring in a whole other organization.
Wow, that's wonderful. Sounds to me that there's really something quite synergistic about the idea that while you're trying to help yourself, you're also helping others in the process.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's amazing, and I believe that you also help a lot of other people who need that kind of service. And it's actually a very interesting name. Can you tell me how you come up with the name Transitions Pet Care?
Well, when I originally had the idea to only focus on people towards the end of life, I wanted to pick a name that was kind of in line with that. And so I was looking at the names of hospices. And, a lot of times they'll do things like Crossroads or I'm trying to think of all the other kind of common ones that you hear. And transitions was just one of those words that you hear related to end of life. So that's how I picked the name. I was trying to set us apart from just any old pet care organization.
Nice. I actually like the word transition. And yeah, I'm curious, are you more of a dog person or a cat person?
Oh gosh. Well, I own both. So I have dogs. I have 3 dogs and I have 2 cats. And so I
Mhm.
don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, but I do tend to lean more towards dogs. I've had more experience with dogs. It's more in my skill set as far as caring for them. I've had, dogs of all ages from puppy to senior. And so cats I'm still learning about. So, but I do love my cats. They're the sweetest little boys. So it's hard to say one or the other because I love both
Uh,
actually.
oh, who do you have there?
Oh, this is Tater.
Oh, hi, Tater. Oh, so cute.
Tater's my little chihuahua that I got actually through my organization. I've told myself I can't keep any of the pets that we take, but I, there's just something special about Tater. I couldn't let him go. So
Okay.
Tater came to us. His owner had colon cancer and he was having to move into a nursing home for more assistance. And so we helped him rehome. Gosh, he had about 5 dogs, but his family took a couple of them. So we helped him rehome 3 of them.
I see. All right. And about your organization, going back there, what philosophy do you live by?
Well, I mean, we really believe in the human animal bond and just how special and valuable it is to somebody's life. And, we're just here to help people maintain that bond, fulfill their commitment to their pet for as long as possible. And, just my own personal philosophy, I really believe in helping and giving back and kind of figuring out your own way of contributing to the betterment of even your own neighborhood and just figuring out what that is for yourself. For me, I want to help people with their pets. For somebody else, it might be something else, but I just think it's important to get involved and help in some kind of way.
Wonderful. And that's actually very inspiring because not everyone would do the same. And yeah, I'm glad you're here and you can really help a lot. And I'm learning a lot from what I found out from you. And like right now, I actually want to implement the things that you're saying because I'm also a single person and I have 7 cats with me.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, also learning to better care for them. And yeah, I'm also there's still always a lot of things to learn.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, and what's your typical day like in transitions pet care?
Well, that's tough because I actually have a day job. So I work for
Oh,
an insurance company during the day, Monday through Friday. And so when I get off work, right at 4:30, sometimes I'll go and walk a dog. Usually, we have some great volunteers who handle that, but every once in a while there may still be a dog or some pet that needs help. So I usually start off by doing that, and then I'll spend my evening doing more of the administrative stuff for transitions. And I'm also in school. And so I have to, at this
wow,
point, sometimes I have to
wow.
split my time a little bit. So it's pretty busy, so. Mhm.
I see. But do you have a foster care or a facility for the pets that you take in?
Right now, we're just foster based. And so all of our pets that come to us live inside somebody's home. And, so that means our space is really dependent on how many people are willing to open up their homes to us and to the pets that we serve. We're trying to start a temporary foster program where we can take pets while the owner's being hospitalized and keep and care for them so the owner doesn't have to worry about that. That's another issue. We've come across several pet owners who have told us that they've delayed care for themselves because they had nowhere for their pet to go. So we're trying to fill that need as well and offer that kind of temporary foster care.
All right. Do these pets in what age and what conditions do the pets have when you take them in?
They're usually adults to seniors in that age range. We really don't get too many young ones, but every once in a while we'll get a puppy or a young cat. I just took a puppy actually yesterday to get neutered for his owner. You know, it's one of those barriers that people experience when they get really sick is they don't have transportation to pet appointments. And so we help with that as well. And the condition is almost all of the pets that we care for are overdue for their annual vet appointment. And sometimes some of them even have active infections that need to be treated. You know, they haven't been on their heartworm preventative. And it's not because the owner's just being lazy or not wanting to take their pet to the vet. It's because they're not able to drive, you know, due to what's going on with their health or their mobility. They don't have the support to help them. And then for some of them, you know, their illness just depletes their finances. It's just very expensive, unfortunately, to get sick in the United States. And so it's really tricky. So we help by providing that transportation to pet appointments. And sometimes we're even able to cover the cost if the owner's not able to afford it.
Oh wow, sounds like a lot of work, and you really have to go all in helping.
Yeah, that's true. There are some organizations that also support pet owners. So we don't have to do everything, which is great. There's some great organizations that help with food, for instance. So if we have a pet owner who's struggling to get pet food for their animal, then, you know, we can connect them to those organizations that handle that.
I see. All right. I'd like to know more about your approach in addressing issues concerning pets that no one can take care of. Does it involve a certain kind of plan, or are there different kinds of plans to go about this?
Well, yeah, we definitely encourage all pet owners, regardless of their health or their age, to have some sort of written plan for their pet in the event that, like you're saying, they're not able to care for their pet, whether they pass away or they just become incapacitated. I mean, the truth is we just don't know when that time is going to come for us. We all hope to live to old age, but that's not what happens to a lot of people. And so pets do get left behind, and it becomes extremely stressful for the family and friends of the owner who they don't want to put that pet in a shelter because, you know, they know that their loved one loved and cared about that pet, but at the same time, they may not be able to take the pet either. So it becomes very stressful. There's a few options that people have here in Georgia. In the last decade, people have been able to create a pet trust, which is essentially the only legally binding option that people have. But if you're not able to afford an attorney to do that, you know, another option is just an informal written plan that you share with whoever you've nominated to handle your estate, and let them know what your wishes are and that everything's written down, care instructions for your pet, who the vet is, all the information that the next person might really need to know. And if you don't have somebody in your support system you can leave your pet to, you can always, you know, contact a rescue or pet sanctuary and make an arrangement that way too. But to just do nothing is not good. We can't expect or hope that, you know, the neighbor who likes to visit with Barney is going to take the pet if something happens to you, because a lot of times it's not what happens. So we got to have a solid plan.
Oh yeah, it could be really tough at times, but sometimes you really have limited choices. But what solutions would you recommend? What if a pet owner, for instance, doesn't have anyone else to give the pet to?
Right. And for some of us, that's the reality. Even for myself, I've been able to contact a couple of my friends to say, hey, could you take this cat or this dog because I think that that animal would be a good fit for their family. I mean, that's one thing you have to consider, but I do actually have a couple pets that I don't have anybody to leave them to. And so in those cases, reach out to a rescue in your community, or there's pet sanctuaries nowadays where, and they're beautiful, and they'll take good care of your pet, and just reach out to them,
Oh,
and they might ask for a donation. I would encourage you to consider leaving a donation to help care for your pet if you're able to, for those organizations, but find out what their process is. But don't just leave it to the only person, especially if you're unsure about their ability to care for the pet.
right, right. Because it really takes commitment for
Mhm.
someone to care for a pet because it's a lifetime responsibility.
It is, and some people aren't the best pet owners. They may not take care of your pet the same way you would, right? I mean,
Right.
my pets sleep in the bed with me. Not everybody's like that, I mean,
Uh-huh.
I've got mine, in the bed with me, and then of course I can hear there's a dog barking outside, and so you could end up leaving your pet with somebody who's just going to dump it in the backyard and not have much interaction with it, so you just really want to be mindful, and you know you can always turn to, like I said, you can always turn to a rescue or a pet sanctuary.
Right, right. And um, do you also qualify people who are really considered as somebody who's near the end of life?
um not we don't do anything, we don't require anything formal at this point. We do have partnerships. So, obviously if somebody from a hospice calls, I know they're referring somebody who's end of life. I don't necessarily need to see documentation from a doctor or anything like that. And we also serve people who have a major illness, who aren't at the end of life, but maybe they're going through cancer treatment, or they, like, one of our pet owners was in a motorcycle accident and now he uses a wheelchair. Well, I can go over to his house and see him in a wheelchair, so we don't really require anything too formal. Could that change down the road? Possibly, but for right now, we just try to keep things as easy as far as the referral process. We don't want to set up too many barriers, because at the end of the day, it's really about that
Hmm.
pet getting what they need. So,
Okay,
that's most important.
I see. Well, how do you feel when you get to help pet owners who can't take care of themselves anymore, or their pets anymore?
Um, I feel happy. Well, I don't want to say happy. um, I'm grateful that that pet owner was able to find their way to us, because free pet care for people doesn't really, or hasn't, since we started, hadn't existed in the past. And so, people, pets, and those pets ended up being neglected. And so when somebody reaches out to me and we can start services and that pet gets what they need, the exercise, the vet care, the medication, all of that, and that pet starts to feel better and we can see the change, it's really cool. I love seeing the transformation for pets. And like I said, I'm grateful that that owner was able to connect with us and know that we're here and we're here to help. Because I imagine before, it was probably really stressful, not having an option to care for their pet.
Yeah, I imagine there are a lot of emotional situations that you might probably face.
Mhm.
And yeah, I'm curious. You have a background in business, and you're an entrepreneur and a U.S. patent holder. Do you also have strategies to fund your organization, or do you also rely on donations?
Yeah, we are 100% funded by private donors, people that just hear about what we're doing and really like it and want to support it. We've got some awesome, generous donors down the road. As we get, going a little bit more, we'll be applying for grants and things like that. But to your point, yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're here to help people, but at the end of the day, it's a business. And so we face the same challenges that other businesses face. We talk about capacity and operations and having a process and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, absolutely. Just like the for-profit pet care organizations, we definitely operate similar. You got to figure out competition, our location, our area, our customer, all that plays into what we do.
All right, I see. So whether it's a profit or for nonprofit, yeah, business strategies really help. And yeah, what's your overall vision for Transitions Pet Care?
My vision for it is that, to create this sort of total pet care support for owners when they face these health challenges and they need the help to care for their pets. There's an incredible organization that we model after in New York that, they have 250 pet owners that they serve every year and 3,000 volunteers. And so, I hope that we can get to those numbers as well. We've got some awesome volunteers. And so I hope as we continue to grow, we can grow those numbers for ourselves. And seeing how much vet care is such a barrier for the owners that we serve, I would love to have a mobile vet clinic so that we can bring those services to the home, because most of our owners are homebound. And so that way we can make sure that the pet gets the care that they need in the home where they're comfortable, because mobile vet care is expensive.
Oh.
So adding that, we also want to have a pet sanctuary so that the owners that we serve can leave us their pets if they felt like that was the right choice for them, and we could offer a really beautiful place for their pets to be. So things like that as we grow. But yeah, I think free pet care as a service for pet owners should be just as common as the low cost spay and neuter clinic, the, free pet food that owners get. Because at the end of the day, that's great that you're able to get, low cost vet care or free food. But if you physically can't take care of your pet and you can't get that help and you can't afford that kind of help because pet care is so expensive, you're going to have to give up your pet. And that's the last thing that we really want, because the shelters here are already so overcrowded. So, just coming up with those solutions to total support for pet owners so they can keep their pet.
Right. That's fascinating. And it's really yeah, providing the best for our pets. That's really one of the most valuable things and fulfilling things that we can do. And from your perspective, how do you think can pet owners be the key to their pets' happiness?
Oh gosh. Well, I think it depends on the pet, but interaction. I mean, my dogs, of course, dogs, the exercise. Well, cats exercise. I would say exercise, interaction, vet care, making sure
Right.
your pets get the care that they need so that they're healthy. And when they're healthy and they feel good and they get that exercise and they get to bond with you, I can't imagine that they would want anything else. High quality food is important as well.
Wonderful. Thank you for sharing that. And I guess it really just boils down to the connection and the relationship that we have with them. And they're really here to, we can also learn from them so much more compared to humans sometimes. And yeah, they can really touch our lives in a way that no other people can. And it's really about that. And it's really wonderful to witness that from the day they were born until, you know And yeah, do you have any final thoughts, or do you have something that you would like to leave our audience that you think is important?
Yeah, I would love to reiterate the importance of creating a plan for your pet. I know it sounds silly. I know, especially for a younger person or somebody who is healthy, they think, oh, that'll never happen to me. But unfortunately, it does happen. And, when we lose a pet, we go through a grieving process, and it's horrible. But when our pet loses us, they can become homeless, right? I mean, these are living animals that depend on care. It's not like, you don't have to have a plan for your couch. It can just be thrown away. But I mean, you're leaving behind an animal. So I just encourage people to take the time, figure out what the plan is. You may not ever need the plan at this point for that particular pet, and that's great. I hope we all do live a very long life, but in the event that you don't and you leave a pet behind, your friends and family are going to be tremendously grateful that you left a plan. Trust me. I get the phone calls. So I just
Oh,
it takes a few minutes just to say to call a friend or neighbor or whoever in your support network to say, hey, if something happened to me, I know it's kind of silly to think about right now, but if something happened to me, would you be willing to take midnight and make those plans and write them down and let them be known? So just do it. Do it today, do it this week, but make sure you do it. It's just as important any other way that we care for our pets.
yeah. Planning really can save us a lot of
See,
time.
your cat agrees.
Yeah, he's actually, yeah, I have to confess, he's actually the real host of the show.
Yeah, yeah.
A lot of opinion too. So for our audience there, yeah, it's really very important to have a plan. This is really something to think about, and yeah, please do think about it. And it's really for about ensuring our pets' welfare and happiness, and we're really here for them. And so yeah, it's so nice to hear and to be reminded that we really have to be mindful for them. Yeah. And for those who might want to know about you and what you do, can you share with us where people can find you?
Sure. So we have a website we're at transitionspetcare.org, and we're also on Instagram under under Transitions Pet Care, and we're on TikTok as well. So
All right. All right. We'll be posting the links to our page so people can find you there and just keep that in file. And yeah, thank you so much, Beverly, for being here with us and for sharing your experiences and your insights and for sharing your heart with us. I appreciate it.
yeah, thank you. I enjoyed it. It's fun. Thank you so much.
Yeah, it's really just a pure awesome fun to have this show, and I hope that you guys in the audience, I hope this show has provided value for you, and I hope you learned a lot on how to care more about your pet and how to simply, easily, and compassionately keep your pet healthy and happy. So I wish you so much love and so much happiness with your fur babies, and we'll see you around for updates and for future events. Bye for now, and lots of love. And thank you again, Beverly.
Thank you.